Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I know it's been a heck of a long time between videos, and it's been frustrating for me not being able to get out into the shed and get as much done as I've wanted to, let alone shoot the footage of what I've been up to. So I thought I'd just make a quick update video, let you know what progress I have made, and let you know what's coming up in the future. So here we go. So the F series diff axles have been turned down to 150mm, and the PCD's been re-drilled to 4x114. You can see if you look closely these marks, which are plugs. So the original stud holes have been plugged and welded just to give that end plate a bit more strength. So now we can get the Primera brake disc and we can fit that up quite nicely to the end of the diff axle. You can see we've got a bit of offset to give enough clearance for the caliper mount. So I'm quite happy with those. Next up we have the J160 shifter relocation housing. You guys will remember from my previous video showing pictures of my mock-up, is where I glued 6 bits of plywood together and then used an oscillating tool to cut them down to get to the right shape and dimension. And based on that I made a SolidWorks model and used that to have this 3D printed. This allowed me to fit it up to the gearbox and figure out exactly what I needed to change or what I needed to refine. And I had ribs added on this model for added strength, which we actually got rid of on the final piece because they weren't required. Then we moved on to the final piece, which is machined out of a block of billet aluminium. This turned out really well. I'll show you a video of it fitted to the car and how it shifts because it's just effortless. So you can see on the sides there's 2 stainless steel pins which were machined up to be an interference fit into the housing, and because they're stainless they'll provide a nice hard wearing surface for the gear lever. Should last a while. The top 4 holes are also tapped to secure the top mounting plate or top gear lever securing plate. So I fitted the standard diff back to the car just to get a few more measurements prior to shortening the F series diff, and also to get an idea of what the car would look like with the Longchamps fitted in their current width. So the rears are 7 inches, front's 6.5, and I'm actually quite happy with how they sit. I would like them widened for a bit more dish in the future, but I think I could live with this. And I think shortening the F series diff to match the current factory diff will still leave me enough room to widen the wheels in the future. So I've just got the rear diff jacked. I'm not sure if you can see it because of the light. And the front one I've got balanced on a trusty beer crate, which is actually pretty close to what I want. Maybe a little bit more tucked than that, but not by much. You might also be able to see under the car that the panhard rod with the car jacked isn't horizontal. So that's another one to fix. Try and get that horizontal or pointing slightly down when I change the mounts over. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. It's giving me an idea anyway of what I've got to work with. Some of you might have spotted the block that I've got here. So that's the block from the Altezza 3SG beams motor, which I've had lurking in a few previous videos. I actually got the engine as part of a package. I was after the gearbox and the guy selling it couldn't split the gearbox from the engine, so he offered me the engine as well, and the price was right, so brought both home and thought out of curiosity I'd strip the engine down and see what it looked like. And I'm glad I did, because it was a little bit worse for wear inside. It looked like someone had been running garden hose water or tap water inside the cooling system instead of proper coolant. There's a lot of surface rust inside the cooling components. The thermostat was completely blown apart, so there may even be issues of overheating there. Not really sure what I'm going to do with the engine. I think when I get a little bit more money behind me, I'll check, do the machining that needs to be done, get a seal kit and rebuild it. But obviously the priority is on the Corolla and my day-to-day cars, so we'll see where we go from there. I also purchased a coil pack mounting plate from SQ Engineering in Australia. Their stuff's always really good quality and it's a really good fit. The kit comes with fasteners to secure the coil packs down to the plate, also spacers to bridge the gap between the underside of the coil pack down to the plate, and fasteners to secure the plate down to the camshaft covers. And I think it makes for a really nice clean solution for deleting the HT leads and running coil packs. Just thought I'd show you guys a little bit extra. This is one of the lower control arms with the bushing from my daily Altezza wagon. I had a bit of a knocking coming from the front right, so through the process of trying to find out what it was, I found the lower control arm bushings were pretty knackered. If I just manipulate this, you can see the rubber's completely torn. So what I did was swap this set out with a good set that I got from a Wreckers, and I've got a set of TRD bushings that I'm going to replace these ones with and then swap them back over. So fingers crossed that'll help in eliminating the knocking that I've got, and also firm up the front suspension a bit to get a bit of the feel back. So as you can see, a little bit of progress, not much, but at least it's something. The focus from here will be to try and get the rear diff done and brakes, and then move on to the front suspension and brakes, with the ultimate goal of trying to get this thing rolling. I want to say by the end of the year, but we'll see how we go. Before that, I've got to sort out a couple of things on my daily. As you saw, the lower control arm bushings, and also I've got to change the camshaft and crankshaft lip seals because they've just started leaking. So I'll aim to make videos on those so you can follow me through the process. But as usual, if you've enjoyed the content, consider subscribing and hit that thumbs up button. Let me know what you guys have been up to in the comments as well. So stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you later. Cheers.